Welcome to the Home Team Sacramento podcast. I'm your host, Josh Takimoto. Kevin is not with us today, but that's all right because we have an awesome guest. We have the Kennedy High School varsity basketball coach and also the host of the 94 Feet with Coach JT podcast, Jerist Roberts, also known as Coach JT. What's going on, man?
What's up, man? How you doing? Thanks for having me, man. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. I've been wanting to do this for a while. It's fun when we get to interview someone that's not only a coach and who's doing great things in our community here in the hometown of Sacramento, but also who's a fellow podcaster. Like,
right.
This is perfect. I'm excited, man. I have to step my game up because I'm dealing with a pro.
Hey, man, like I said, I'm just learning too, man. We talked offline already, just trying to get the skills better, but we have fun doing it, right? It's more to it than just putting something on the air or putting something in the radio. It's a lot of work behind it. So, man, I'm definitely excited about the journeys and definitely following you too. And some of the people you already had on, I'm like, you got, already rolling, man, doing a great job.
Appreciate that, man. We appreciate that. And we also have the common connection. My wife is a teacher at your school, a coworker. And so I think we were joking beforehand. She bumped into you today. It's like, hey, you're doing a podcast today. It's like, how did you get a hold of my schedule?
It's funny. I said a small world from sports, podcasting, but also in it, just speaking to her about some of our basketball boys, but all the kids speak highly of her too. But she's also, you can tell she's for the kids, but also she makes them work, but also gets something out of it, man. So as a coach, I love that. She's looking out for the boys, but also making sure they're held accountable. So that's an A+ in my book.
Man, I love hearing that, and I'm glad I married up for sure, man. So I'm glad.
Big up to the wifey, man.
Absolutely, sure. Man, absolutely. So I want to talk about everything that you do because there's so much to jump into, not besides just the coaching. But let's start here, man. Give me a little bit of an idea of your athletic background, your coaching background, where you started, and then how you got to the point where you're at today.
Man, so just general athletics, man. I grew up outside. Playing 3 sports every year as long as I can remember until I got into about second, third year in high school. Played soccer, baseball, ran track a little bit, but then tried football, but mainly it was soccer and basketball and baseball for forever. And just growing up in Sacramento, man, mom's was a single parent home, but the resources and the family around us is solid. We're solid. So it was games here, it was school and sports. Just stick to that. And that's all you need to worry about, So that was my focus. But also it was for me, I was the only boy. I got a twin sister. She's a principal at Kit Carson. So I got to shout her out. She that's my other half. But we always did stuff. But for me, it was like, since I was the only boy, I wanted to be around other boys and doing stuff like that. So mom was like, okay, sports is the best thing. But also my whole family, my older sister played sports. My uncles, my great aunt went to Sac City years ago, is an Hall of Fame over there. So sports is what we did, but also for me is where they just meet friends, man, meet some new boys and hang out with and just, learn some things that mom probably couldn't teach or didn't, but, and also, build relationships. Because some of those guys I met back then are actually some of my best friends to this day. So all through high school, man, went to Kennedy High School, graduated in 2000, man. So they're 3-sport athlete all through high school, won a Metro League championship in 2000. We lost the section finals to Jesuit my senior year. Never forget it. In Cole Park, some of these guys that are reffing right now went to Jesuit. So I see them at the games and we laugh about it all the time. But I'm like, I got to see these guys every year I'm reffing. But it's memories, right? So we had a good run at Kennedy, man. Enjoyed it. After Kennedy, I went to Sac City College. Man, basically had to start from the bottom at Sac City, but just given the opportunity by Coach Jones, who I owe a lot to. I played middle school ball with his brother, and we had a formal relationship. Like I said, my auntie worked at City. My older sister went there too. So I knew Jones going into it, but I didn't know how of a coach he would be toward me, knowing that we had so much, kind of family ties. But he didn't give me any slack. I had to earn everything when I got there, earned a starting spot at the end of my freshman year. Played 2 years, good seasons again. Played some good people, man. Some of my friends to this day, like I said. And then I went to Alcorn State University in Mississippi and walked on. So funny story about that within this story. My mom, it's about who you know, right? She calls the coach. My son's coming down there. He's there. He plays guard. I get down there. He's like, you're not 6'3", 6'2". I was like, no, I'm not. I'm not. I wish I was, but based off our relationship, and my grandparents lived down there. They passed away a while ago, but they lived there. So it gave me an opportunity to go down there, spend some time with my family. Really, my grandma and grandpa were about 30 minutes away in Natchez, Mississippi. And but really go earn the spot, right? So I had to walk on, be at practices early. I just tried to reset the bar, but I was used to doing that. That's kind of was my motto from high school to junior college to the 4-year. It was like, okay, it's opportunity. Make them give you a scholarship or make them give you a jersey, right? So for me, it never ever came easy though. I wasn't the most athletic, but I've always studied the game, emulate the game, watch other players off the ball, just stuff like that. And in my you say back then, you're going to be a coach because you're on the bench. All you do is talk. You talk on the court. You talk on the court. And I'm like, okay, I love it, right? So I think that's what kind of had me go all the way into it. And I get to all court and walk on, play some games. I think the biggest moment there was I started my last game. My senior career, I started my last game. We fell short of the conference tournament by 2 or 3 points. And I was like, man, I could have did a little bit more, but I still got to start my last college game, which I never would have thought I would have even played Division I basketball. Let's keep it real, but through blessings and grace and work, it was like, hey, I made the best of it. And I enjoyed the ride, man. I enjoyed the hard work. I enjoyed the sacrifice. I enjoyed that, but I think my family also enjoyed it too, man. So it was super, super dope, man. Left there in about 06, came home, man. I jumped right into coach. I went right back to Sac City. I got home in 06. Yeah, Coach Jones said, whenever you come back, you can get with me. And he's also, one of his requirements was to get our jerseys. We had to show him our degree. We had to graduate. To get your jersey, got to bring your degree home. I'm bringing that degree home. Then you get your jersey. So I was like, hey. And he preached that all through those 2 years. It wasn't, yes, he wins and losses. We won games, but he's a graduate of Cal. He was like, get this degree. You guys are good. Like, he's like a father figure to a lot of my friends. And he was like, no, but other than basketball, this is the most important thing. This is going to take all you guys places. And now we all like, because a lot of my friends are doing good. They're starting businesses. We network together. We still hang together, but the foundation was laid. After I graduated, I started coaching. And that's when I was like, okay, man, I would like potentially my list, right? Coach at Sac City, coach at John F. Kennedy High School, or coach at my alma mater, Alcorn State University. So I was like, which one of these, or how can I get these steps, right? So I just started jumping into coaching back in 06, man, and learned a lot. But I was that coach, right? The young, hungry guy. That was my life all day, every day. I'm gone at the house, work a full-time job, fine, but I'm the first one in the gym, last one in the gym as well. And it was like, because I love doing it, but also know that it paid dividends for me. It's only right I give it back. You know what I mean? It's only right that I give it back and pay it forward.
100%. No, I love that, man. I mean, I have so many questions based off what you just said.
Yeah.
Because that was so much good stuff. Let's start here, man. And I love asking this question to coaches that were players at a high level and then came back to coaching immediately, because sometimes when that happens, that can either go really well or really, really bad, right? Because sometimes there is that raw hunger, that raw energy, and they want that same passion to come from their players, but they're just not at that same level. And it's like, it's frustrating, right? They're like, why don't they get it? It's like, well, you were fresh off of a D1 school and now you're trying to impart that same knowledge and wisdom, but they're just not connecting. Or it sounds like it worked out really well in your case, where it's like they kind of vibed with what you were throwing out there because they saw a dude that played at a high level and knew the game really well, came from the same city. And so what was that like for you? Like, was it a difficult transition, or did you jump into that pretty easily?
So I think the transition made it a little bit easier was going to junior college, because I'll tell you about the high school transition, and we'll get to that for sure. It's a crazy bumpy road at that point, but coming to junior college, and also Coach Jones, the respect factor, right? He already knew, like, Jay, this is what you're gonna be doing. He could just tell. Once I left, he said, I know you're gonna come back. And I'm like, okay, cool. But then he's like, so when I get there immediately, I went there with some other coaches. Coach Brian Chavez, actually, shout out, who's at Liberty Ranch right now.
Oh, cool.
Coach B, work with Coach B, like I said, the connections, right? But he knew, he was like, okay, because for Coach Jones, he'd been there for a while already. And he's actually, man, I think that was he's in it 22 years now, but that was only his third or fourth year as a head coach. But he's like, wow, I got some young guys who are energetic. I can do something else, which I'm learning too, right? As a coach, you can give people tasks to do or leave them to do, and then and stuff like that. And so I came in, I can still play, right? So whenever we needed extra person scrimmage, whenever we needed extra body, but then also I was the defensive guy. Yes, everybody now scores, I get it, but 22 years ago, believe it, 15 years ago, people had roles more defined. It wasn't all about everybody has to score.
Right.
I could score 15 and in, make a jump shot, make layups, play the passing lane, but I was getting deflections, guarding guys. I could fill a stat sheet up. So I just grew up knowing, okay, that was my role. That's what I did to be successful, but that's how I got on the court. Then when I got home, it was like, hey, okay, I'm not too long out of this, but also Coach Jones always reminded the players of history. We used to come back during the off season. I'd come work out at the school. We'll come back for Christmas. I got a 3-day break. I maybe came home for 3 days. I went to one of his games, stayed home with family, hang with boys, right back to school. But he always let guys know these are alumni. These people won games. Like, we won 22 games my sophomore year, I believe. So it's just that at that point, the transition was pretty decent because also, you know, junior college basketball is dog eat dog.
Yeah.
It's grimy, it's rough, but as you especially see now with this transfer portal thing in JUCOs, it's what everybody wants.
Sure.
Everybody, because you're a little older, a little bigger. Because I think coming out of high school, man, I probably was 160 wet at 17. I was a late teenager. I was late 18. I didn't turn 18 till July, but I was like my freshman year, second round of the playoffs. We played San Jose City College. We won. We beat Merced in overtime, buzzer beater, double overtime. We go to San Jose City College. I guarded a guy that was like 6'3", maybe 6'4". He was giving it to me. Yeah. So my sophomore year, I was like, okay, I got to do a little bit of something, but it's still no different. I mean, it's still a big difference from going from high school to JC and JC to college. So, but coaching wise, the guys knew like, hey, this is real because guys are trying to get to the next level, but you're not high school, so nobody's babying you.
Right.
Because you can leave at any point in time and we will keep pushing. Right. You know, so it's like that. So that transition for me was good because also he entrusted me, but also I wanted to make a good sign on the school and on him because I'm thinking potentially I want to get this job. Now I don't know when,
right?
But I want to get this job eventually if it comes up. So like I said, just being in support of him because he's always supported me through middle school when I played with his brother, time I played in high school, and then when I got there with him and played for him. So that's why the college part was pretty decent transition, man. Now the high school part, 2015, I believe I got this Consumer Stokes in Elk Grove, still fire. I spent 7 years at Kennedy under Coach Fong.
Yeah.
Maybe longer. And then waiting for opportunity, applying for head coaching jobs, go to second, third interviews. I finally get the opportunity for whatever it looks like at CO. But as you know, times change, right?
Yeah.
So the styles, the players, the dynamics, the locations. When I was in high school, there was no CO school built. Right. When I was in college and left, came back, CO was built, so it was new. And just the dynamics for me and maybe my passion was still too high. So just trying to monitor that, and I only stayed there 2 years for whatever reasons happened. I got let go. So it's like, okay, wait, was it me? Was I not relating? You know, trying to figure that stuff out, man. It got tough, even mentally. I thought about taking a break, something I've always wanted to do. I was like, no, I'm not even gonna coach no more. I'm gonna chill out. But it helps to have resources, homies. Coach Jones is getting called. He's like, you can always come home.
There you go.
Always come home. So I was like, you know, because for a while I was like, I thought I deserved the opportunity. I thought, you know, I was getting things in place, but it could have been that thing too, right? I'm not playing no more, coach, even though my mindset is there. I got, you know, had to make some adjustments. And I think that was a huge learning curve for me as just I won't say a young coach anymore because this will be my 14th year overall.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. So just learning, man, just being open to learn and asking for suggestions, or also being more lenient now. Sure. Because again, when Jones sometime back then, it was some stuff you wouldn't go. Like he left our best player, my best friend to this day. He left him at home for not doing an assignment. He was the best player on my team, ended up playing 13, 14 years overseas career, going down as the best player American ever in Korea. But I think that defining moment for him and us, he let us know nobody's above your academics or requirements of the team. Right. And we went to the tournament that weekend and won 2 games. It was like a 2-2. We won both of them without him. But he was like, never again. Y'all not leaving me. Like, hell no.
Yeah.
That lesson, right, was one of the, and he's in the Hall of Fame at Sac City too, right? He haven't got inducted yet because he just finished playing. But we're like, damn, you left our homie and our best player at the, but hey, we were like, hey, we about to go play, we about to hoop.
Right.
But it was like, damn, you left the best player. So what does that, you know, where does that leave me?
Right.
So just those lessons, right? It was like, okay, I got to be able to adapt, take a step back, reevaluate. And then I went back to Sac City, I think from 18, 19 year, won 20 games again. Like I hopped right back in. We went 20 games, go second round of playoffs. For me and him, it was like we just never left though. We instantly clicked. He kind of knows my groove.
Yeah.
We're similar, but also I think we work well together. But he also is a trust factor and stuff like that too, man. And just the relationship we have. Like I said, I owe a lot to him.
Yeah.
He knows that too. So I always want to shout out Coach Jones and all the coaches. I spent time actually at CRC though, man, too.
Nice.
Yeah. Before I went to CO, John James, man, he's doing good things over there. His first year, we go to the playoffs. We have 3 guards that are a tear, and we make it to the playoffs. But I think those coaches had they saw something in me.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that because for me, it's all about learning and communication, but also trying to better yourself. And even more so now, just adjusting, right? The kids operate differently. And as you know, the biggest thing is parents. Yeah. Parents in junior college, nope. High school, yes.
Right.
You know, so just learning how to maneuver that. It's been like a learning for me and using resources. I have a lot of help. My sisters, my coaches help out a lot with that. Even staff on campus, you know, trying to help because the communication with parents and coaches, man, as you know, it can go up and down in high school. It
Oh
can be
yeah, for
rocky. And
sure.
also, if you're an at-will employee, like I am at a high school, they can let you go in a minute. There's
Right.
no contract. So,
Right.
it's kind of learning how to maneuver, but also now that I'm at Kennedy, man, it's a lot more to it for me. As you said, talked about in the introduction a little bit, than just the basketball thing. It's always been that no matter what, but this gig right now means even more, So just those adjustments from college and high school, big difference as far as the junior college one went good. The high school one, the first time around was a rocky start.
Yeah.
But this one, I believe, is getting better. And and I will say this though, it's always going to be some people who dislike what you do.
Right.
And
Can't escape it.
I've had some, being candid, being open too, like people send comments your way that you're like, I'm just here to do a job. I'm for it's not the stipend, the once a year stipend. It's not that.
Right.
They send messages to you to try to discourage you,
Yeah.
get you off your path. I mean, no matter how they send it to you, if it's text message or email, whatever, people will try to bring you down because you either do things differently or you're different. But it's about who you believe in. You know what I'm saying? I pray a lot. I believe in God, right?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
try
Yeah.
to stay humble, but I also know just it was good to me. So I want to give it back to your kids. Now, if I need to work on my approach, I will do that. But I also want to be like, it's a lot out there for them. This ball can take them a lot of places, man. So definitely matured as a man doing this coaching thing in the last 13 years of my life, for real.
Yeah, man, it's a crazy balance. I don't coach. I don't personally coach. I just get the chance to talk to coaches and athletes.
Yeah.
But that's something that's always one of those things that comes up is that relationship between the players and the coaches, and then the coach to the parent or the parents and the coaches, even to the teachers, right? Like there's a lot of different communication and things that you have to juggle. And but I think, like you said, that mindset where you're like, I gotta keep growing, keep learning, and keep evolving, so I can figure out how to be the best communicator I can possibly be so that I can get the very best out of these athletes. I think that's awesome, man. And let me ask you this. So you're on campus now,
Yep.
and you deal with the health and wellness of the students, right?
Yep.
Now it sounds like, if I'm understanding it correctly, this is the first time you've been on campus as a coach.
So
No?
yes, so actually last year during COVID, I was on campus as an instructional assistant, but that was all via Zoom.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
now this is the first time, being physically on campus all day. So
Okay, because like
the other jobs
you weren't on, like you
yeah,
weren't a
no,
teacher or
most of
anything
all
like
the other
that.
ones, no, I was off campus or I was doing some after school stuff at different places, but no, I was never physically on the campus through a full day either. So yeah, this is my first time being physically on campus from what is it, 8 to sometime, during hoop season, right? 7:30,
Right.
8 to 8,
Oh, 8 to 8.
8 to 8, 8 to 5.
Which is something that I love talking to coaches about, because we've had a lot of coaches on the show
Mhm.
that are teachers on the same campuses that they coach on. They said it's a game changer, because here's the thing: an athlete, they can't get away from Coach Jerist. They
Hey,
can't get away from Coach Roberts. It's like, hey, we're gonna see you at
hey.
practice. Oh, but I saw you all day on campus, and if I see you screwing around, it's like, hey, I'm gonna be there in your ear. And so, how
Mhm.
valuable is that for you as a coach?
So I believe the resources and the parents I've connected with that really care about their students too, and that trust me, they know it's a big thing because I mean, as a team, I'm gonna shout out my guys right now, right? Just all three levels of about a 2.95 GPA across the board, right? We missed it by a couple points, but that's because study hall is mandatory
Yeah,
unless you have a 3.5 or higher, or you know what I mean. But also, it gives us time to do work together and just be together. But also, things happen, right? A lot of young guys on the team, and plus this first year, just COVID example, kids haven't been on campus, right? So I basically have sophomores and freshmen bodies, but they missed eighth grade year, right? So they're still goofy, they're still silly, they're still, some of them maybe a little bit, I want to go see what's going on over here in this little altercation. I'm like, stay away from the circles. If you see kids crowding up, go the other way, right?
right.
So things like that. But also, I think that admin staff, the teachers also can say, okay, wait, he's involved actively here too. But also, I go to the teacher and say, hey, if you need me to use basketball as an incentive to try to help motivate this student, please let me know.
That's huge.
If it's cardio, extracurricular, if it's like, however, like, hey, I heard you didn't go this for a PE class. Hey, I got it. I talked to such and such. What's up? Basketball players always dress. We always, yeah, it's, it's a requirement, but also they know. So it's part of the maturation process of them
Yeah,
knowing that I'm there, but also I want to be able to ease back.
sure.
But to start it out though, I was always out there.
Yeah,
Lunchtime walking around. Don't be late to class. I pick for the first semester, I was in the C building as Kennedy for often before I got to my office downstairs. I come out, look out the door, look in the hallway, because I hear,
yeah,
we're coach, right? I hear a
yeah,
voice. I'm like, that's my guy. I'm gonna walk out
yeah,
the door. Oh, coach, I'm going. Better get there.
yeah.
But
Hurry
the
up.
parents who really value it, man, they know, like, coach, I appreciate what you're doing. And now in this new role, for sure, with being a health and mental health and family advocate, For me, it's something I think I've always done because I've always been around students and players and kids. I've always tried to share thoughts and just help people regardless. I always tried to serve, right? I was always taught to just serve. That's me. But then now I get to just do it from another level, but also I have experience in the classroom because I'm also a college professor with CRC part-time.
Oh, gotcha.
So
Okay.
yes, I'm a college professor. So I get to help students from high school to college, but also now at the high school, just if it's learning issues, if they're having certain anxiety issues, I can help you refer them out. I can help even just meet with them like one-on-one sometime and just do a check-in. As we know right now, this is the biggest case of probably anxiety and certain other things that we're dealing with as a nation. And a lot of it is our school age kids. So if I can just try to give some type of relief or resource, and even like I said, with you, we can use our podcast space as a way for students to sometimes either watch somebody else, because I've had a couple of guests on my show, high school students who went through some things, and I had a student say, one of my players said, "Coach, I'll miss an episode of your podcast." I was like, "What?" I was like, "But okay," and he actually was giving me context, and I was like, "He's actually listening because this is how they listen, right?" Or obtain. They may not be reading everything, but you put on that YouTube, you put on that Instagram clip. Oh, I saw that. So I'm like, you know what? How can I do this? But I've been excited to do this. I could never find what I've worked in so many different educational roles, man, throughout my years and with different teacher group homes. And I've always liked kids, but now, this is even finding my niche or just finding my groove a little bit. And it's not work for me right here. I'm just trying to help, man. I'm just trying to help one at a time, and families too. Like I'm able to meet with families and try to help mend relationships with students, or help them help the student together or whatever, So definitely been excited, man. Shout out to the Student Support Center at Kennedy. The staff there is definitely dope. Miss Sangeeta, Miss Harris, and then the whole staff though, because us now being on campus is giving them some more light to the administration part of the school and the structure. And even like all the campus security monitors, campus monitors, everybody's getting really in tune right now, man. We're really trying to put some quality foundation going at Kennedy and get these students, make sure they're safe, of course, but also make sure they're just able to function. Because like I said, it's different now, man. But I enjoyed my high school time. That's probably the biggest thing I feel for them. High school, man, it was fun. I don't see as much fun right now, especially when you're winning games. Your school's on the news. Like I said, we went 32 and 33 and 3, I think, my senior year. So we're winning. My boys, Madden had just came out a couple years before, so we're playing Madden before a game. All that stuff. We're taking it all in. But we're going to school. We're going to class too, right? We're doing our work, but we're taking it all in. And that has been a big fall for me. I watched. I said, man, I don't know if they're having fun on campus. Like it was active, right? You had dances. You had, even before COVID, it still was like they're just not having as much fun on campus. But now COVID really hurt that. So hopefully they get some of that back too, man, because that's the whole high school experience, man, is memories.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, I love everything you're saying, because we're not even getting into the X's and O's of coaching and all that. Like you're just talking about life stuff and how you can use basketball as a vehicle to do all those things. And I was going to ask this question a little bit later. I usually end with this one, but I keep looking at the poster of Nipsey behind you, man.
Yeah.
And I feel like obviously when his sudden passing happened a few years ago, I know kind of the big thing that you would hear everybody say is obviously legacy, right? The marathon continues. How do you apply that to coaching? Because obviously he's a poster on your wall, so it must be an inspiration for you. So
the cool part is sorry, I don't cut you off, but also
behind
it's Kobe embedded, which is like sick. I'll pull it down and show it to you. It's Kobe and him, right?
Right. Oh, he's wearing a Kobe jersey.
Two guys in LA. Yeah, it's two guys in LA. And his picture, and Kobe's actually on the same purple picture too, but he's in the back screen. I'll show that one to you too. And it's like, but for me, not growing out with my pops there, like all for a big chunk of my life, but I was embedded in church, right? And I saw men doing things. I had good relations with the pastors and deacons at the church. They always come check on the gentlemen, like, how you guys doing? Just give me pointers and tips. And I'm like, trying to set the foundation on what you should be as a young man, as a potential father, as a grandfather, whatever you like. And it was like, so for me, it was like, you have to serve. You should be humble, work hard. And also more so now, it's like, I want to make my family proud. Like I said, whether they're here still physically or not, my grandparents, whoever else is not here, but also the ones who still can support. I can go to games now, man, as a coach still. I look in the stands, somebody going to be there. Yeah. Or now at Kennedy, you look in like the first game, everybody said, Coach Roberts, is that your whole family? I'm like, yeah. I say, because my sister's name on that wall, my name's on this wall, my older sister got a banner over here. we're embedded in here. And then my mom and my auntie, they all show up. Or they come, you want us to work the door? I was like, Mom, I need to work this. They come work. And the family's like, oh, no, I don't want them to work. I said, this is what we've been doing for a long time.
Yeah.
It's embedded in us. But also for me, it's like, I want to win. I want to produce good student athletes too for them as well. Because you talked about like their relationships, right? Yes, the winning and losses goes up and down. But also for me, the thing is, when these guys come out of high school or come out of college and come back and say, what's up, coach? I went and got my degree. Or if I see him now, we can see him right on Instagram, social media. Okay, they living it up. They enjoying the college life. Or I see him with their graduation tassels on.
Yeah.
And now it's like, and like I said, we had great runs when I was at Kennedy as assistant coach too. They come back and say, hey, what's up, coach? How you doing? Or they got jobs now. Like 3 of my guys are living in Greenhaven together. They all work for the state at like 22, 23 years old. Y'all got state jobs. I can't want nothing else more than that. They got state jobs. They're good. They're still enjoying their youth. They've graduated college, but they're being productive citizens. And I like to think I had a part in that because also we share some memories, some good games, some work all them days working out in the gym. And to me, it's like that money doesn't buy that. I mean, it can't buy that. And even though some of that stuff comes, kids leaving your school, kids talking bad about you, your parents, I definitely can say I've had more good days than bad days. And to me, that's what needs to be focused on, because if there's no bad, how do you learn to get better? Or how do you celebrate the wins, right? If it's always good, how do you celebrate a win if it doesn't get hard sometimes? So, and it's that legacy thing, you know what I mean? It's that last name means enough to me, and, or to my family. But also I think it's just the fact that other people, my name's attached to their name. Like, so my twin, for instance, I told you I had a twin. Yeah. She's known as Coach JT's sister. She's like, dang, everywhere I go. And I'm like, but that comes with the territory, right? Because I mean, me coaching, teaching, training in the city, but also I do wear Sacramento on my back or on my shoulders all the time. You can say what you want to say about Sac or Kennedy, but for me, it was good. It's been good. So I just try to live like that. And also, like I said, man, I think now is the time for people need mentorship or just kind stuff or support. Like, man, I just want to be that, man. I want to see everybody win. I was always a team player. I didn't get on the buckets. I needed him over here to get me the ball so I can get him the ball, or I need to get the, stuff like that. So that's where the game for me comes in, coming to play at, because it's a team sport, right? Yeah. It gets to the court quicker with a pass and a dribble. So if you're ahead, go ahead, man, you score it. We still get 2 points. I don't care what you do with it. Put it in the basket. You know what I mean? I'm going to celebrate regardless. So that's kind of what I've always lived by and kind of moved by, I'm saying, try to grow and spread to other people.
Man, I love that. And I feel like that's such a good perspective to have, especially as a coach, because there's like a weird balance as a coach, right? When it comes to your experience and how you relate to athletes, because, you might be someone who didn't play that much at all and doesn't really, have that same passion for the game. And you're trying to coach people and they're like, well, why would we listen to you? Mm-hmm. And on the flip side, you have someone that played at the highest levels that's trying to come back down and teach kids. And they're like, you're so far ahead of us. Like, how can we relate to you? But someone in your position, you have a ton of passion. You've played at a higher level than them, and then probably at a higher level than a lot of them will play. So they can still look at you, but you weren't necessarily a starter, right? You were a guy who had to grind every single day to get the playing time that you did. Mm-hmm. So like, basically, how can they say anything to you? Like, you've been through it all, right? It's like they say like, hey, coach, what are you talking about? It's like, no, you don't understand. I lived all the stuff that I'm trying to tell you right now.
But also that's the biggest thing. Also, this, I would say more so for us 80s, 90s babies, we would get information kind of right now. But as you know, they're the show me what you did right now type thing. So that's a good point. They want to physically see something, a mixtape. I'm like, we didn't have mixtapes back then. I can't show you a tape of me doing something like that. But now if we're breaking down the drill, but see, I was taught, I'm a teacher. I can teach it to you. Like guys who want to learn fundamental skill set to especially on the defensive side. Offensive end, I can tell you how to cut correctly or read a screen to come off of it because somebody taught me how to teach somebody else. But I think there are the application process now is where we got to figure out how to bridge that gap, or it's the trust and belief, because you have to learn to trust them now, or to trust them a little bit, but you have to give a little more and give them some, because then they'll do what you want. But sometimes it's like, oh, coach, you old there or whatever. I said, nah, okay, wait, not too old. I just choose not to play as much no more. But I had to dust them off like the last couple of practices of the season. So like, hey, I can still do a little bit, but I'm not trying to get hurt. I got to work in the morning. But so I think just showing some type of proof also helps them, because just the application process off back, man, they won't. it has to be earned with this generation now, man. They want you to
Sure.
prove it and earn it. Then the buy-in's there. Then I believe you can get them to run through the wall. But off back, it wasn't like, because again, their priorities are different, right? They got
Yeah.
distractions, these cell phones, these social media, the like buttons, these highlight tapes. But it's like I'm glad that wasn't around for us to a certain extent, because we weren't playing for that. It meant
Right.
something. Let's play for the school, our brothers on the team, the name on or whatever, and for the city, stuff like that. So some kids, it does mean that. Some kids trying to find a motivation is where we have some kind of difficulty sometimes, man.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. And I'm glad to hear, man, you can still get out there a little bit.
A little bit, man. Somebody asked me to play in the 35 and up league. I was like, damn, I'm about to be 40 this year coming up. I'm about to be 40 in July, man. So, but yes, I was like, man, I've been blessed to have maybe just one major injury, an ankle in college, and then playing flag football for 10 years messed up my shoulder, but no surgery. So I was good. I was like, I don't know. I think I want to I'm calling it quits. I'm gonna just keep training and shooting. I don't want to run up and down.
Why keep pushing your luck, man? If you got out with a shoulder and ankle, just get out of the game.
And that's it. I'm like, no doctor. I don't want no surgeries, no hospitals.
Yeah.
Said, I'm okay with it, man. I'm gonna stick to coaching now. If I coach other sports for fun, sign me up, baby.
There you go. So, hey, man, I got a couple of questions for. I could do this for a while, man. I gotta, I want to be respectful of your time for sure.
I'm good, man. I blocked it off for you.
I appreciate that, man. So I'm gonna ask you just a few more here. Where do I want to start? Okay, let's start here. This is always a fun question I like to ask our guests, especially because you're here from the city too. Mm-hmm. So which I just love the fact, man, this is called Home Team, because we're about Sacramento, the surrounding areas, and like we've always said, you may wear a different jersey, but at the end of the day, if you're about making student athletes better, if you're about using your influence as an athlete to make the city better and the people around you better, like we're all part of the same home team, even though we compete against each other, which is my next question.
Post you put, man. That post was solid, man.
Thanks, man.
You said that in the post. It hopefully for more people, they read deeper into it, because as you know, things are going on where people in the city don't work together.
Right.
When it's enough basketballs, enough kids, but also to help uplift. Like I said, shout out to El Grove, who's going to be playing in NorCal.
Yeah.
B2, and then Modesto Christian, not that far away, but they're still close. Shout out all of them. It's still NorCal. We take care of business Saturday night. We want to represent NorCal. You know what I mean? It's like, especially in El Grove too. Like, you got to show love.
Yeah, 100%. But that doesn't mean that, hey, when we play on Friday night, we're trying to crush you.
Yes.
So those two things, me and Kevin always believe, like, those two things like have to go hand in hand. Yeah. If you want to like produce the best athletes. I think, like, hey, we can love the other side, like show support, like you said, but at the same time, that doesn't mean we water down competition.
You, but I don't fear you, and I'm gonna play like I don't fear you, and that's the thing I always make sure. And that's the big thing I would say too, though. I want to instill that in my guy. Yeah, you guys are so friendly, but hey, we gotta draw that line somewhere. I mean, too much LeBron James going on, man. All the handshake pictures and stuff. LeBron cool, but I like LeBron. I respect him too. But like the game, man, hey, we gotta go eat lunch, man. Because if not, we're gonna be on the other side of this thing.
Yeah, we don't need the banana boat out here. You say that, right?
No, none of that, man.
Yeah, get that out of here. So, but that being said, man, so like obviously, like we're all a part of this same home team, but we are competitive. And I always like to ask coaches, who is another coach in the area that you have a lot of respect for, you love competing against, and why is that? Like, what other coach have you competed against in the area that you would want to shout out?
Man, I mean, for me, it's so many, because I just try to look at everybody. Like I've watched all these guys. I actually finally got to coach against Swafford. He's a legend around here. Was at Sac High, right?
Yeah.
But even my boy, shout out to my boy Twan, man, just retired from Florida High School, right? So we played against each other. We played in high school.
Oh, really?
Lead point guard. I guarded Twine. I vice versa, right? So then I go back to Kennedy. We play against the Foreigners in our league for years as assistant coach. We beat them the first couple of times. They end up beating us as assistant. I leave, come back, I get the head coach job. This year we played them twice. We beat them at our place by 4 or 5. We beat them at a tournament by buzzer, by 3 at the buzzer, tie game, half court shot. But I mean, it's so many coaches though, because for me, it's like, but also those guys, like I said, I respected them. But I've always wanted to beat them. Like, I mean, I could go down the line from high school. Coach Lindsay at Burbank. I always respected that dude, but I'm like, nah, I'm gonna get him. When I first got to Kennedy, we didn't beat him a couple of times. I said, no, we're gonna beat them. I said, I don't care. We got to beat them. And Sac High had to get win against Swafford. I mean, it's so many coaches, man, and they know who they are. Coach Earl was at Sac over there. Coach Fred at Innicum. Fred got a monster team at Innicum right now. Yeah. But for me, it's like, man, let me get some horses, man, or let me build these kids up, and just I want to be able to play the best, right? Because I mean, that's how you test yourself, I believe. You know what I mean? You can't just settle for playing not down to your level or lower, but that if you want to really see where you are, you got to play the best around. So, and a lot of these coaches that I know or associated with, they got some solid teams, man. So I respect all those guys, man. All the coaches that I communicate with have been my boy down in Vanden, Mike. Super. We played in junior college. He went out there in the Bay, but I've known him ever since then. And he's like, his teams are loaded, but they're respectable. But he does the right way, man. He works and he's won. But also when we play each other, he knows nothing but love. Like, but on the court though, we going at each other's neck every time, man.
Absolutely, man. Well, I love what you said too, because I'm passionate about this. Where I always hate it when there's teams around the area and there's just the way they do things, but they have an incredible record. But you look at their schedule, and no disrespect to anybody that they play, but they're clearly teams and schools that don't have the same resources that they do, and they smoke these teams, and then they want to hold up this this undefeated record, and then when they get to playoffs, they can't hang because they've been playing down lower than their competition. So I love what you said about, hey, we got to find challenging teams to play, because it's gonna be frustrating in the moment. Yeah. But it's going to help us elevate and raise our game to the next level.
And my goal, I think, is also that kids now don't take a loss as serious or as I hate to lose.
Yeah.
Hate to lose. Still do it. Monopoly, spades, dominoes,
sure,
whatever, right? Shooting pool with the homie. But it's the competition part that has shifted for me. I was just like, just if you lose, yes, but then how do you turn that around? How do you not get that feeling again is a goal now. Now, what can we do? Even myself as a coach, trust me, come home. I said, I told my players sometimes, you guys don't see what I got through when I go home or what I'm up doing. And I can't physically shoot a ball in the game anymore. So basically all I can do is speak, draw, teach, and you guys have to apply, but I can't put the ball in the hole for you. And that's one of the hardest things to do as a coach is realize, know that you can't do nothing. You're doing your best if you are. And when the result don't come out as you think it should be, how do you deal with that? Based upon the cards you're dealt with at, public school versus private school, all that, whole nother situation, getting kids is different. But, definitely, man, I'm that competitor still.
Yeah. Man, I don't think any coach loses that, whether they played it or not at a high level. I think every coach has that. And like, I imagine, like you said, man, I imagine that for every coach that's out there during their Friday night family game night, when they're playing Monopoly, or I bet it's the same thing. Everybody's like, man, like, why do we invite coach to this game night? It's too competitive.
Hey, it's definitely like that, man. I can remember in college too, playing Monopoly like for the homies. And my other boy, he played ball in junior college too. He was the same way. I was like, okay, and he said, if you ain't trying to win, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying to win.
Yeah.
Like, this is Monopoly. I feel you. I said, so you gotta get on with it, man. You better slide some money or get a property or try to skip them. Hey, whatever you gotta do, man. It's at the end goal, right? That competition thing, man. But it's just sometimes,
absolutely.
And I know people say it's either in you, but you can put it in people, but also some kids or people are just grow up in that nature like that. So it's embedded in. I won't say nobody's born with it, right? But it's embedded in them at the early age. They learn how to compete, man. So and shout out my two nephews, man. I got one that's 12, about to be 13, and my little one's 8. And they both compete with my little one, man. He hates to lose to big bro. I mean, he hates it. He hates it, man. And Gavin and Grayson, man, he hates to lose to big bro. And Uncle, I can beat you. I'm like, okay, now I gotta give him you gonna maybe get back out there, man.
Yeah, lace him up again.
Yeah, but he loves the game right now too, man, which is so dope to see, man. But he's a competitor though. And he's skinny as me, right? When I was little, right? Yeah. He's called my twin. He's a little one. But he's fiery. He played with a chip on his shoulder. I'm like, okay, it's embedded in him already. I can see it. So,
Man, that's what's going to get you hurt. It's the nephew, that challenge from the nephews as they get a little bit older.
Yeah.
They're going to challenge you to one-on-one. That's what's going to bring you out of the game.
I'm going to just, like I said, we can stay stationary. 2 dribbles, that's it.
Yeah.
I'll be good. Like, so the quote, one of them he's already about 6 foot, man. The 12-year-old 6 foot.
Dang.
Yeah. And the other one, he's skinny, but he'll be tall eventually. But I'm like, all my nephews, my oldest one is 18 now. He's 6'3", maybe. Yeah, they got Uncle. They gonna have Uncle beat, but I tell them get him with these, man.
There you go.
If I need to, you gotta whoop me. You gotta whoop me.
Hey, that's what happens, man. I'm the oldest of 4, and my 2 younger brothers are at this point they're bigger, stronger than me. And I remember the last time I got into a fight with my youngest brother. I'm like, oh, I grabbed him, and I'm like, oh no, he's built different now. And it was
body weight different.
Yeah, exactly. And then I had to resort to some like cheap older brother move. I bent the finger back, and that was the last time I fought. I'm like, I can't do this again. I'm too old.
Make a smart decision, man.
I try, man. I'm trying to learn.
Pass the torch.
That's right. Well, speaking of pass the torch, you've mentioned Coach Jones quite a few times early on. And one of the questions I wanted to know is what is a lesson or a phrase or something that you've learned from him that to this day you still apply to life, coaching, all that?
Man, I'm like, that's an open book, man. That's crazy. I don't know. I think one thing is just the love he showed all of us. I try to show that to my guys now. But that's accountability. That's also at sometimes let them be goofy and do silly stuff.
Yeah.
Also demanding of them. Always expect, good things, great things. So when you even if you come a little bit short, it's still better than what they probably expected. Because it was never okay for us just to be okay. But I never even heard him say it. It was just like he demanded so much. We were like, okay, we gotta produce. Like that was what demanded, but also it made me hold my boys accountable and then me on and off the court. Like you could say something, my best friend, to this day, no filter, man. What the heck you doing? All right, I'm not giving him no lip back. He's the best player on the team. To my other boy, he's the point guard. To my other boy, we could hold each other accountable, but we knew at the end of the day, we love each other. I still love y'all. Y'all my boys. But also we want to take our business against, like you said, everybody else, but also we playing for him because he's invested so much time in this. Just doing things more family oriented. And I try to do that because I don't know if a lot of players these days are willing to accept a coach like that too.
Yeah.
Some do more so now.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Some teams do based upon maybe wins and losses. If you're winning, of course, right, everybody's going to be a little more open to it.
Sure.
But that genuine love and affection for a player or trying to build relationships, to me, I think is everything. Because I want to see them succeed outside the game and inside those lines too, but in the game of life. And like I said, that's one thing he like told us from day one, man, just take care of your business. You're going to go to college. If you want this jersey, come back. Yeah, you get your jersey, but that's the agreement.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, but then also within that was the discipline, the rules, the structure, the family events. Like we all graduated, came back. Some guys stopped playing. We all got together at a restaurant, and we were like, dang, it's the first time we're all legal having beers with our coach.
Yeah.
But eating food, and he was like, but it was like 9 of us.
Wow.
He was just like, actually my sophomore year, we had 7, 8 sophomores. All of us still stay in the city now, I think maybe except 2. So when I first got back though, we were all back. I said, we got to get together. He was just like, and he calls us his boys. Like, I mean, he had some good teams, trust me, but we were his first full group for like 2 years. Yeah. And we're just like, we knew, like, a lot of us is crazy. A lot of us came from single parent, like 7 of us single parent household. We all had moms. Mom was there. So that's what made us closer too, though. We all each other's house, sleepovers, 5 to a house, 6 to a house, go to a house. Where we're at, but also we knew, okay, Coach Jones is Pop's right, Pop figure. Coach Jones is putting, so we came back and see him. So we just like respect each other, love each other, but also on that court, man, he made us, even given the time, right? We're known sometimes on the city as Sac City Boys, that group, because we used to go around playing everybody off the court during our season. We'll go to the pickup gyms, and like, even when I graduated, playing all these little rec leagues, tear them up like we were just in junior college. We took it serious, man. You're not finna. We still ride together, man. You know what I mean? So that's some of the stuff that's probably the biggest thing he installed in us that we still and we'll carry on to this day, because now some of us have kids. We want the kids playing together. Or some of us have different businesses. We support each other, man. So just that team factor, man, is probably the biggest thing. It's team.
Yeah. Well, man, what an amazing just picture that you painted of that coach's legacy, like Coach Jones's legacy. Like it lives on through all of you guys and through everything you guys. Like that's crazy, man.
Got something for you. I don't know if you can get this, man. When I got my degree, when I got my master's degree.
Oh wow.
Old pictures, right? So he just gave me a quote. It says, many years ago, you wrote me telling me to keep my job open because I'm coming back for my spot one day. Sounds good. And you've gone from assistant JC to a high school assistant JC. When I went to CRC, he said, boo, to a high school head coach, man. He said, just I'll keep the seat warm for you. But proud of you, excited for you, love Coach Jones. And this is just like me as a sophomore playing, and him, my young coach, no facial hair. Yeah. But he gave it to me as a graduation gift, man. And for me, it's like, that's again, awesome. Like mentorship, love, affection, but discipline. That's what it's all about. Because I wouldn't be where I am without all those coaches, though. Coach Fong, Coach Jones, Coach John, anybody who gives me opportunity to coach alongside with them, the assistant coach, Coach Joe, my boy Steve, it's so many, Coach Tony. I mean, it's so many guys, but I've always tried to just learn, man, and soak stuff in. But also I knew I want to do this. I want to get it done, but I gotta earn my stripes, basically, right? Because it was never just handed to me. I probably went on 25 interviews,
Wow.
within my whole 14 years. Okay, maybe 20, but 2 or 3, I thought, oh, I'm about to get it. No
Yeah.
call back, you know?
Yeah.
So, but it takes work. But I was like, nah, I'm gonna get this, I'm gonna make it happen. So, I mean, it's a part of the story too, right? Like I tell everybody the story,
Yeah.
and I'm hoping to inspire somebody to keep trying,
Yeah.
or inspire somebody to figure out their path, I'm saying, from here in mine or something like that.
Yeah. Well, I hope every coach that's listening to this is hearing what, the impact that you're having, that your coach has had on you, because like, it's so cool. You guys are getting back together. You guys are still, investing in each other's
Yeah.
business and all that. Like that's a really important piece. And I think that's just a huge part of the legacy that a coach can leave, and their thumbprint on each person's life. That's huge. So I hope every coach that's listening to this is hearing that, and seeing, like, even during those especially during those rough times when you're having those rough days as
Yeah.
a coach, like the work you're doing matters for sure. And so
Yeah.
it's sometimes it doesn't seem like it, but the work all of you guys are doing, really matters. So we appreciate, every
Yeah.
coach who's out there grinding. Um, Let me ask you this one last question, man, before we get you out
Yeah.
of here, because I've been talking this whole time. We've been talking a lot of amazing
Yeah.
things, but I haven't even addressed your podcast yet, man. Like,
Yeah.
when did you start the podcast? Why did you start it? And then what was the response like from the community?
Man, so COVID, and then just because we're in class half days, I'm like, I got some extra time, man. Class is out by 12:30, and podcast has been going on.
Yeah.
I heard about it here and there, but also I started paying a little more attention, and then I actually got asked to do an interview from a local person here in Sac. Odie Strahan was on Straight Talk with Strahan, so I did
Oh
that
yeah.
interview. I did that, but I'm also like, we've done we do this as athletes, people, humans, naturally, without putting it on a platform.
Right.
And I'm like, we always talk about sports. We always debate, or we always talk about telling stories or going back and forth. So now I was like, you know what? Talk to a couple of people, talk to Odie. Somebody else say, man, all right, what I gotta do to get started? And I say, you know what? I was in the closet. I was in the little closet in the house recording audio Zooms first. I said,
Yeah.
you know what? They see talk about the Yeti, the microphone. Look, YouTube is okay. What do I need? What's the best one? Just start doing that. But then it was like, okay, now what name do I give? So name, I was like, well, man, the court's 94 feet. It may be basketball based, but I'm sure I can flip it when it's time to come around, right, to incorporate other things. But also 94 feet can mean pressure of life,
Yeah.
pressure in the basketball court, or how do you handle pressure? So I was like, okay, and it's me though. It's with Coach AT. That's who I am. That's the brand, right? That's what I go by as well. But and then I was like, getting started. Not that difficult, but also learn, like you talk about, just know a lot of people.
Right.
Or I've ran through our network with a lot of people through sports, through living life. So I'm like, you know what? I've always tried to keep that bridge open. I've always tell my students and players, don't burn that bridge, right? So now all I do right now is get that from, even when I was back before college or in college, I can cross that bridge and say, hey, a lot of classmates I went to from Alcorn, they're coaching D1 schools, they're coaching high schools, they play professional ball.
Wow.
One of my teammates from Alcorn got a chance to play with Kobe.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Trey Johnson played with Kobe Bryant.
Wow.
Rest in peace, Kobe.
Yeah.
But Trey played with Kobe. So I'm like, you know what? But I try to always respect everybody. So just in case, hey, Trey, he's at Alabama State now with Mo Williams. He's assistant with Mo Williams, both from Mississippi. He's like, hey, yeah, Jay, you know what? I got you. Only got to ask once.
Yeah.
I had Darnell Jackson. I met D Block a while ago out here. He was with the Kings. Chop it up with him, reached out. Yeah, Jay, it's good, man. I'm like, okay. And so now even I asked them, if you got somebody to refer, you can send them my way. And it just started going. It started building a little bit. And people like I said, I went to a gym during the December month. I walk in, somebody's like, hey, coach, what's up? Coach JT. I'm like, what? I know we're in the gym, but when the parents say, hey, yeah, come here. I watch your show. I'm like, really?
Really?
Yeah.
That's
and
crazy.
So I just started doing YouTube about, it's almost going on 6 months now. I have like 30 YouTube videos up, but I have like 25 episodes too on audio. And somebody's like, I don't miss an episode. I was like, what?
Yeah.
So just really like,
that's awesome.
It's, it's a good feeling to hear somebody just listen to your content, but also I think hopefully that's saying it holds value, right? That's the biggest thing. And like holds value. Cause I mean, and a lot of people, the shows that talk about whatever get all the ratings, they get all the views. I get that too. It's like, oh, I want to get 1,000 views.
Yeah.
I want to get some likes. But you know what? I mean, on the other end of it, I'm like, well, if people really are valuing this show and watch it respectively, or just have an opinion or even tuned in for however long it is, I'm getting something out there to somebody. And I'm like, okay, cool. But also it's fun.
Yeah.
But I'm learning also too, it does take work. It takes consistency. Somebody tell me some people only go 6 episodes, they stop. I was like, really? I said, I'm on like 68 right now, but everybody's different. Everybody, some people can't try to set up guests like we did, talk offline. Because you got to think, you ask 10 people to be on your show, and 1 or 2 may say yeah.
Yeah.
But then what do you do after that, right? So, but that just comes back to that sports. Now, I'm not quitting. Somebody's going to say yeah, or I'm going to have to word it to where they got to like show value in my guest. I think you're highly valuable. You bring something to the table. I like to share your story. Then they go, okay, now I got it. Got it. But you got to put that value on it, because also they're going to give you something that somebody else could learn from. And I've also learned though, man, like starting out, they were pretty good audio shows, but then I realized watching some more YouTube, they were like, if you're not tired from doing an interview, it wasn't that good. And I was like,
I like that.
Because I said, why am I tired? I was like, you know what? It's hard to sit and listen for an hour to somebody, but if you're tuned in, you're locked in. I'm like, I feel like I just got through working out. I'm like, I'm drained from doing an interview because it was so good. It was intentional.
Absolutely.
Questions were good and some, stuff like that. And I was like, so I'm just trying to learn how to perfect my craft, like basketball or like work, but also some of it I like to freestyle too, because it goes for authenticity.
Yeah.
I get to catch those faces where they go, ooh, yeah, it's live or something like that. And they go, you got me, but that gets a reaction, right? So just learning, man, but having fun with it now too, but also, like I said, building a platform for people with businesses on my show. They can market their business, they can reach out, and even the mental health space, they can give words of encouragement on there, but also just people who want to highlight their story from Sacramento or across the world. But definitely I'm gonna hold down for the home team, right? For Sac.
Absolutely.
I'll make sure everybody in Sac get on my show quickly. But then anybody, I have people from, I interviewed a guy from Thailand. I mean, he's from he went to not UConn. Oh my gosh, I can't think of this the school, but he lived in Thailand. Gentleman, and he was like, yeah, of course I'll do your show, Jay. He would play ball over there. He does big things over there, but he's like, man, of course. And I was like, he made a way to do it in Thailand, all audio, but he did it, and we still talk. But also, I'm meeting new people. I'm making new connections, like Coach Penny at TSU. I mean, so many other coaches I met. I'm like, okay, because if I'm traveling, if I'm out, a couple guys play, all the guys who play sports. If you come to the game, hit me up. I got a ticket for you. I'm like, okay, so just keeping that going, but also they're okay with the opportunity to tell their story. Now telling your story is a big thing, whether it's for your NI, whatever the image and likeness deal you want, whatever it is, right? Tell your story, you're promoting it or whatever you want to do, right? So it's different ways, but also for me, it's just like, I don't mind being that filter, that person, that interviewer asking the question, because I like doing it. And for me, I learned something about somebody I may not have known inside about, because you get to learn and have empathy for people when you learn about them. I was taught that too. It's hard to not like somebody who you know things about, right?
Right.
So if I know you've been through something similar, I know you had some struggles. Oh, I know you. Oh, you felt like me. Oh, we both failed. Okay, but also, you persevere. I respect, they respect you more, or it gives me something to look forward to as far as the guest or even me being the host. So yeah, man, I definitely am liking it, man. Just trying to stay steady, keep learning, man. You never know, and see what pops up, man. Like I said, I mean, who knows? One day, like I said, everybody has these shows that hit big. For me, it's just all about whatever happens to it happens.
Right.
But I think as long as I'm enjoying the ride, I'm gonna keep doing this show, man, for as long as possible, man.
Please do, man. We could have a whole conversation, a whole episode about just the podcasting stuff, because
definitely.
Now, when you said that some people stop after 6 episodes, you're not lying. Like that drives me crazy, man. Like there's a podcast that's super dope, and you hear it, it's like, oh man, I hope this is, this is a consistent thing. And then pretty soon they start doing, instead of every week, it's like, oh, every once a month. And then pretty soon you don't hear from them. It's like, what happened?
Fall off. And
like you said, man, it is a competitive thing. Like that's what drives me too. It's like, I love this, man. I'm addicted to it. So I gotta keep going with it. It sounds like you have the same mindset. So I love it.
Yeah, man. Keep doing it. Like I said, you'll get those times where and take your breaks too, though. I said that because as we know, right? I'll say it's tough, but also I think sometimes because you got to make them miss you a little bit. you gotta get back a little bit, let it flutter, let it move a little bit, hit them with something new, or give yourself your time to, like, it was crazy doing the basketball season where I was like, am I really gonna try to do a podcast on Sundays during hoop season, knowing we play Friday, Saturday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday?
Yeah.
And I've done a way better job in my voice. So I kept it, but I was like, I didn't have to cancel the show because my voice was gone. So I did good. But I was like, am I gonna do it? But also I'm like, well, I mean, it's holiday. People probably still want to hear it. They're looking like, what's next? So just doing that is a good thing, man. But yeah, man, I'll just keep doing what you're doing. The content's definitely been dope. But like I said, we're supporting Sacramento, right? Which I think hopefully people in the city realize that too, right? Use our platforms as a way to help somebody else, but also uplift the city and things that are going on in the city, or other coaches, other mentors, other activities, because that's our goal, right? Like I said, we can be those sources, those outlets. I'm like, hey, use this.
Yeah.
Like, use this, man. Like, take advantage.
100%. No, I'm with you, man. So, we're definitely thankful, man, that you're part of our home team here in Sacramento, and you have such deep roots here in Sacramento. Like, I love it, man. So, that being said, where can people follow you on social media? Both you, your podcast, YouTube, all that stuff.
Yeah, man. So everything is at 94 feet with Coach JT. That's the website for IG. Facebook also is probably Coach JT or 94 feet with Coach JT. Actually, I'm working on that Facebook thing right now. I'm new to the Facebook world as far as that goes, trying to get that going. But Twitter is 94 feet with Coach JT. All that's on there as well. So, and you can follow also at Coach J916. So I kind of do the podcast page, but I do both of them, man. They're both back and forth. Everything is, but now it's Google savvy, right? You just enter it in Google once and everything pops up. I was like, I think that's a good thing though, right? Because I mean, somebody's searching and I'm putting content out there. So you can put it in the Google search bar and or in this YouTube bar and find everything. Apple Podcast, same thing, man. 94 Feet with Coach JT, man, on all podcast platforms. So just staying consistent, man, and trying to see what's next. So as we know, right, things pop up in the podcast world. Like something else, you got to try something else. You got to do something else.
All the time.
But the thing is, let me ask you a quick question though.
Yeah, please.
How do you feel about the marketing of this thing? Because it's work, man, trying to market this thing.
Oh, it's a lot of work. Yeah. And I'm a little bit of a psychopath with it. Cause you know what I mean? Like I just like to drop it on a specific day. I have certain things that I do as far as the marketing and the pictures and like the promo creation or the material that I create. It's one of those things that like, there's times I'm like, I hate this so much. And then there's times, but like, even when you start to kind of slack off a little bit, it's like, nope, got to get it done. Get it done. And I just can't. So there's been times where it'll be the night before and I'm like, well, maybe I just push the podcast back. And we've had to do it before, and it drives me nuts. Like all day, I'm like, man, the podcast, I should be promoting a podcast right now. And I told people, no, it's going to come out a day late. And I have a tough time doing it, but it can be a beast sometimes, man.
Yeah, you find your niche, man. But like I said, man, just keep it up, man. It's definitely growing, man. I'll make sure everybody tunes into your shows too, man. Because you got some dope guests already up there, man. So I was like, and I'm scrolling through, I'm like, I know him, I've seen him. I'm like, dang, but you just never know where to find everybody, or if they even were doing interviews. Because some people you don't see regularly. So I'm like, okay, now I can kind of see where these people are at, what they're doing, or like I said, your co-host know him for years, but also he's a great speaker. He's one of the best, right? Like he's been doing it for years. He's been doing it for years around the city, so he's known about that and known around the city for years. So I'm like, I definitely see him. He's definitely got some good talks going, man. So keep it up, man. You guys doing a great job over there too.
I appreciate that, Coach. And hey, man, good luck with everything, with the podcast, with next season, all that stuff, with everything going on at school right now. Man, keep up the great work. We appreciate you, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate you again, man. Taking your time out your day. I know you got more work to do, and just keep going. Like I said, if anything I say, just keep going, man. Keep your toes down and keep working. And if you need anything from me, you already know where to find me now. So in more ways than one. So we're good.
That's right. Same to you, man. We want support. So I appreciate it, man.
All right, no problem, man.